It really does. This is a monumental trade deal. This is a big thing, and I think this is what the U.S. wants to see more happening. This is exactly what the U.S. trade team wants to happen with other countries around the world, specifically the EU. It does not. It's only between Japan and the EU, which is the largest bilateral trade agreement ever, knocking tariffs off 99% of their profits. So the EU is going to get cheaper goods from Japan, like fish and tea, and while Japanese are going to get cheaper goods from Europe, like wine, handbags, and pork. So this is a very positive announcement, and that is something that the U.S. wants as well with other countries.
That's what I was going to ask you, because the president of the EU is coming, and obviously the administration is urging the EU to lower their tariffs. Do you see this deal as a move in the right direction? How could that impact the meeting next week?
Yeah, I think a few impacts could result from the meeting of European Union Commission presidents meeting with Donald Trump this Wednesday. Number one, they might address some of the regulatory burdens between the U.S. Exporting goods to Europe, and they're also going to address the tariffs, specifically targeting Germany. Those auto tariffs, they impose 10% tariffs on the U.S. cars. We impose only 2.5% on their cars, like Mercedes and BMW. Some Americans like to buy and drive, but that isn't fair. And they're also going to address our trade imbalance, Germany in particular. We buy a lot more stuff from them than they do from us, and that's a problem.
You brought up the auto tariffs. There could be some news that breaks. A lot of countries, especially, that's going to be addressed on Wednesday, right? Because they do not want those tariffs to go up.
No, they really don't. And look, Germany makes a lot of quality products. Americans like buying BMWs and Mercedes, but we also have to put American car makers first, like Ford and GM, and American interests first, and that's what President Trump is trying to protect. Was unfair. The basis from the get-go, they're slapping 10% on cars coming out of the U.S. to them, and we only charge 2.5%. So let's get rid of tariffs across the board.
Well, we had a representative from Kansas on earlier, and he's saying, listen, some of those farmers are bleeding. So how long is long? Whenever we say, oh, it's going to be short-term pain, and the president has your back.
Yeah, it is. Tariffs are open-ended, so it's open for negotiation. President Trump does not want to hurt the farmers. That's where most of his base, if you look at the farm states, Kentucky, Florida with orange juice and some of the retaliatory tariffs, and Kentucky with bourbon, that is hurting some of President Trump's base. So, of course, he does not want to hurt American businesses in the long run. He just wants fair and reciprocal trade, has been said time and time again.